Hello, my name is Andrea Carli, and today I'm going to talk to you about saxophones, my passion. Now, a disclaimer, I'm not a saxophone teacher, I'm not a professional musician, but I have played the saxophone for about 40 years, so I know what I'm talking about. And this video is targeted to people that are beginners, maybe people that are starting high school and you want to join the high school band, you don't know what instrument you want to focus on, and you don't know what saxophone you like the most. You don't even know if you like the saxophone. Maybe you're still trying to decide what you want to do. So this is going to give you a little bit of education about the saxophone, an instrument that I absolutely love. Okay, you gotta know that there are 14 kinds of saxophone. Unbelievable. Adolphe Sax, who is the person that in the late 1800s invented the saxophone, patented 14 kinds of saxophone, from one that is very small to one that is huge. But not all 14 saxophones are very popular. In fact, if you go to a music store, it's possible that you will not find many of this. In fact, you will probably find 4. The 4 kinds that are more popular, that are also more popular in a high school band. And these are the 4. The soprano, the alto, the tenor, and the baritone. Luckily, I own 3 of them. I don't have a baritone, but I have played it, and so I will be able to tell you a little bit about it. Let's start from the first one. You've seen it. You've seen the guy with the long curly hair playing this instrument? I'm talking about Kenny G. Yes, that's the instrument that Kenny G plays. It's the soprano, the soprano sax. Some people don't even know that it's a saxophone. They think maybe a clarinet, a metal clarinet or whatever it is. No, it's a saxophone. It's not curved, but it has the distinctive sound of a saxophone. I like the sound. It's a very mystical, more reverent sound, and I recommend it. It's an instrument that I like. A few things to say is, though, to keep in mind if you want to start with this, is that the intonation is a little more difficult than the other instrument. It requires more focus in your embouchure and in your breathing. So the soprano sax is very easy to make it sound bad, and very easy to make it sound off tune. So you're trying to play with other instruments and you're kind of off, right? So it will require a little more study, more diligent to try to be in tune. Another thing is that all the other saxophones usually have a strap that help you to keep it on. This one has the possibility for a strap. As you can see, there is this hole, this loop here where you put the strap on. But many times it's played without a strap. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Kenny G plays like free like this. You know? And so that means that all the weight of the instrument rests on your thumb. And so that could be something that after a while become a little bit difficult. You know? If you get tired of that. You know? But yes, I know plenty of people that started playing the saxophone from the soprano, and Kenny G is one of them. It seemed it really worked for him. So if you like the sound of this, go for it, you know? Again. Okay. I want to mention that the soprano sax comes also in a curved version. This is the curved soprano. The difference is, of course, you see it has a curved bell instead of being straight. And it's a little small, cute. This is my toy. And it has the same pitch than the long soprano. instrument in the series, it's probably the one that is more popular. When you look at this, this is what, when people think about a saxophone, this is the one that they think of. It's the alto sax. The alto sax is very good for starting. If you're a 11, 10-year-old, this is a good size. It's not too heavy, it's not too big, and also it's an instrument that has a lot of parts. If you're trying to join the high school band, you will find more parts for the alto than the soprano. The soprano is not really very well used in a big band. The alto is. In fact, many times the alto player, the best alto player, is the first alto player, is the leader of the whole saxophone section. So it's a leadership instrument, I would say. Here is the sound. It has a nice voice, a nice tone. This instrument is very popular for rhythm and blues, rock and roll, of course jazz. So it's very versatile. And so I think that is a good starting instrument if you're just beginning, approaching the saxophone. It looks good, and so I'll recommend it. Now, let's talk about people. So I said that the soprano is Kenny G. The alto, I would say Dave Koz, David Sanborn, Candy Dulfer. These are three people. Maceo Parker. These are some people that you want to Google and listen to them, how they play. Okay, the next instrument is my favorite. It's the tenor. It's bigger. It's a little heavier. When I was starting out, I remember it was a little heavy if I had to practice for long hours. So sometimes I had to take a rest a little bit and do some stretching, you know. But this is a beautiful instrument, it has a beautiful voice. What I like about the tenor is a very warm, sexy sound. I like the low sound, a low note. So, it's, as I said, it's a little heavier, but it's also a good instrument to start from. If you want to Google somebody, I would suggest Bonnie James. So Bonnie James, Dave Koz, and Kenny G are people that play smooth jazz. Smooth jazz is a kind of jazz is a little more easy listening, and the melodies are simpler, and the general audience seems to like it because it's so simple to. The jazz, I call it the real jazz. I'm sorry, I don't want to be pretentious, but the jazz that is really state-of-the-art music, it's a little harder to understand because the melodies and the chords are just a little more complicated. And so in that category, for the tenor, I would put Joshua Redman. Joshua Redman is a cool guy. Check him out. Of course, John Coltrane. Also Stan Getz. Those are all people. There are a ton. And one day I will do a video where I will share all these people. But for starter, these are good names. Joshua Redman for the tenor, John Coltrane, Stan Getz for the real jazz. And then on the alto, I would say Charlie Parker. It's one of the fathers of jazz and contributed so much to the music. Charlie Parker from the 40s. You can have Phil Woods, Lee Konitz, Those are all good instrumentalists that you may want to check out. Okay? Alright. So the fourth instrument I don't have is the baritone. Baritone is bigger than this. As I would say, so look at the tenor, the baritone will probably come up here, down here, and it has a loop in the neck and goes down there. So it's huge. And also the mouthpiece is bigger. And so it's a little, requires a lot more energy to play. Also the distance between the key in the keyboard, it's the keys are farther away, so it requires a little bigger hands. So if you're starting out, if you're a 10-year or 11-year-old and you're still growing, the baritone may be a little bit problematic at the beginning. Of course, eventually you will grow, so that is not a problem. But those are things to consider. Also, one thing is the baritone has less music than the other instrument. In a big band situation, it would probably do some short or long note, not a lot of phrasing, and also is not as popular in rhythm and blues or jazz bands. The alto and the tenor are usually the most used, and a little bit the soprano. So the alto and tenor are the one that probably finds a lot more application in many different kind of music. So that is also a consideration that you want to do. As far as classical music, all of them are used. In fact, there are common saxophone quartets where you have the soprano, the baritone, the alto and the tenor playing together and playing very good melodies. So, alright, the assignment for you is that check out this instrument, the people that I told you, check them out, Google them and listen, because ultimately you want to choose an instrument that you like the sound, because music is all about the sound. So you want to find a sound that identifies with you, and it could be a tenor, it could be a soprano, or it can be all of them if you are undecided. As I said, you can see that I have all of them, but I prefer the tenor. So tenor really speaks to me, and it grew on me. I have to say just one thing, that when I was first starting out, when I didn't own a saxophone yet, and I told my parents to buy me a saxophone, I was expecting an alto. I was hoping for an alto, and my dad brought home a tenor. It was an old tenor that he bought in an used store. All the consumed, all the paint was consumed, but it was a great quality, great tone, and so that's why he bought it. And at first I was a little bit disappointed, but then I really started to really love it, and right now it's my favorite. So it really reflects on me, the person that I am. So the same for you. You can just try to figure out what is the sound that you like the most, and then go from there. Okay, I hope this video was helpful for you, and there will be other following this one with more about the saxophone. Thank you.